The Hollywood of the South. We can talk about it. The Hollywood of the South. We can talk about it. The Hollywood of the South. We can talk about it. The Hollywood of the South. Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. Let me do it. WCEG, Hollywood of the South. We can talk about it. The Hollywood of the South. We can talk about it. The Hollywood of the South.
Okay.
And we are back on WCEGWOOD, the Hollywood of the South, with my co-host Tiffany Roberts and my guest John Brown, Deon Robertson, and Alphonso Jackson.
He refuses.
I don't know why.
Akhenaten, it's easy.
Akhenaten.
You know the Pharaoh Akhenaten?
Oh, okay. Akhenaten. That's where it's from?
Akhenaten, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Akhenaten.
All right. Now, what was the meaning about, like, what?
So if you're familiar with Akhenaten, he was a pharaoh. He was the father of King Tut, and he was the husband of Queen Isis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nefertiti, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Isis because that's the world right there. That's the planet. So he was the husband of Nefertiti, and one of his things was he believed in getting his people together. You know what I'm saying? Because back then there was like polytheism. You know what I mean? And it's like everybody was like worshiping everything else. So he was just trying to join the people and centralize them. Like, it doesn't really matter what you believe in. Just believe in each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we do enough of that. We're so divided with this and that. Like, they're trying to separate us. Like, you got to be Democrat, you got to be Republican, you got to be Christian, you got to be Muslim, you got to be on the West Coast, East Coast, black, white, everything. But what about let's be one? Like, let's try that out.
Let's be people, humans.
Let's be that.
Right.
Because let me ask y'all a question. Do we own the world, or does the world own us? When I mean the world, I don't mean society. I mean the planet. Do we own the world, or does the world own us?
The world owns us.
We come from the dirt.
We come from the dirt. So why are we treating the dirt like? Why are we treating home like dirt?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So by treating each other the way we doing it, like we not only killing off ourselves, we killing off the planet too. So that's one of my things, man. I just want to be like, I want to let people know, like, look, you got to love the planet, love yourself, love your people. Because like I said, at this moment now, we all exist at this moment. So let's make a difference for the next moment and for the next moment after. But that's just the way I see it. You know what I mean?
You know, while you're there, though, how do we do that? Like we said, and I say it a lot too, we need to do A, B, C, and D. And then I have to sit back and reflect. How do I make a change? What do I do? And I can recycle. I can do this. I can do that. I can call a brother and say, hey, I got a part for you because I want to, bring you up, get you exposure, do this and this. But really, at the end of the day, how do we come together? How do we make this world better?
Well, you got to. You start looking at it from a granular position, like the way we got a lot of waste, a lot of toxic waste. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm talking about just the planet, the health of the planet. So get rid of most of the toxic waste, all the gas, killing the ozone layer. All of this stuff is important to the planet. Because you got to think of what this is. This is a ball in space. You know what I'm saying? And space is way bigger than this. So that ozone layer is helping us. It's shading us from those sun rays. That if it wasn't that, then we would be like Venus. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like Venus. Right. So, because you'll be burning all the time. We can't live in those conditions. Right. So we got to do what we can from our perspective, because you got to think of the way, with technology, with advancements in technology, you're going to degrade the planet some ways too, because you got to think there's so many different things. Like there's radio waves and, you know what I'm saying? There's chemicals being burnt and put into the earth and the soil and all of this stuff. So we got to look at it from a perspective like, what are we going to do for ourselves to try to make sure that our future is going to be able to live here? You know what I'm saying? Because there will be no here. The earth will be here, but we won't. Because if the earth dies, then we die.
Right.
So.
But the love of money and power is, means more than people than that. I wrote a line in a song that I wrote, and it said, what good is money if there's no one left to envy?
Exactly.
So how do we get to that point to where we make those who have the money and power, like oil? They're so greedy. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be honest.
Oil. No, go ahead.
Well, I think, I'll just say this real quick. I think we're looking at our generation now. The generation of program are the kids. because they're the ones later who can change things. So that's how we start. Because right now, I mean, I'm 43, so I'm got like maybe 40 more years here or whatever. But when you start programming the kids, then the future, they start taking some things more seriously and they start inventing ways. Because kids are smart and technology advances. So instead of inventing ways to hurt the planet, let's invent more ways to protect ourselves and the planet at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
my bad. Go ahead. Another thing is that we got to play the chessboard. I mean, you got to think our culture, that's the only thing we don't do. We don't play the chessboard. Like, anything that controls us or that's above us considerably, you know what I mean? They play chessboard. They play the chessboard. Everything that they move that's made, even by the government or out in the open, it's in behind closed doors. You know what I mean?
Right.
They come, all different cultures come together behind closed doors.
Right.
It's just like business owners. When you got Jewish business owners, they're not only they can't stand their brother over there, hate him, but they're gonna keep that money flowing in. You know what I mean? And they're gonna make sure that they not keep our culture out of it. You know what I mean? So we have to do more of coming together and doing than just saying, like I said, you gotta do more and say less.
Yeah.
But you know, back to his point though. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
I agree. But to his point, we're not the only ones that's gonna die off. Everybody will.
Everybody will.
So how do we get to the point where we're making people understand that we're a world of
share
humans?
this together.
Yeah.
We share this.
Yeah.
And either we prosper together and live together, or we die together.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's the whole thing. We that's what we supposed to do. But like I said, I love all culture. I love everybody, but it starts with your culture. You know, you got to think other cultures come together. That's what they do. You know what I mean? We've been struggling with this Willie Lynch theory for years and years and years.
I think we still trying to learn about our culture. That's the advantage a lot of cultures have over us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They know their culture.
Yeah.
That's because our culture has been pushed back and hidden from.
Well, it's been really taught to us.
Yeah.
It's like if you rip somebody from their home. And they don't have no knowledge. It's like what kings used to do back in the days. The worst thing that they can do to another civilization is burn their history.
Yep.
Because then you don't know who you are.
You don't know who you are.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You're right.
So we are in a state where we're still trying to figure out who we are. We're trying to connect ourselves back home. We're like the lost tribe for real. For real.
Right.
And think about it, because we're here and we're treated a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But how are we treating each other though?
Yeah,
and see, that was going to be
thing.
what I was about to say. We got to stop hating on each other, because when we see somebody doing good, we want to bash them instead of supporting them and lifting them up.
How can I support? You know what I mean? Support each other business, support each other black-owned businesses. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of them don't.
And that don't mean a discount.
No,
I think a lot of them don't understand
paying the full price. I mean, you're gonna pay the full price for Gucci,
right?
Louis.
I try to catch it on sale, but
I'm just saying you're gonna spend that. You know, you're gonna spend the money on what you want to spend your money on.
Right.
So why not give back and spend your money in your community?
Right.
Keep rising your businesses, your cultural businesses.
True. Yeah.
And I tell this story because I was on a plane and this white man was sitting there talking to me, and he said, "I got a question for you." And I was like, "Uh-oh." You know what I'm saying? Because I could tell you finna get into something deep. I just didn't know what it was.
So you knew it was something.
And he said, hair, women's hair, is the highest grossing.
No,
highest grossing business.
Yeah,
period. He said, but he said not one black person owns.
I'm about to say that.
You know, the companies that create the hair.
So he's talking about weave.
Weave, right? He said, do you know? And he said this to me. He said, do you know that if the black culture start owning the companies, you will wipe out. He said you will wipe. He said just the hair business alone.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what it is.
I was tripping off of that because after I said that and I thought about it, I'm just like, man. And you go on Instagram, I don't know where these hair people come from, but they follow, like they keep it. I'm like, where are these?
I knew they be popping up.
Yeah, they just be popping up all kind of weave. All these weave accounts and stuff just popping up. I'm just like, who is these people? Just a bunch of weave.
You be like, weave be talking, and they got white weave, yellow weave.
Right. Well, honestly, because the Asian community has that really on lock. So you really you can't get beauty supply products. They won't sell to you. Distributors will not. They will only sell to their own. So what we have to do is get smart. And I know a couple people who do this, and they actually have a middle person who's Asian. All he wants is a small cut.
Yep.
And then what he does is he buys the product for them, and then
But you see how it has to work.
that
It has to go.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Then you cut out the middleman.
They won't even
sell
sell
white.
white.
No, only their own will they sell to. Because think about it, they're the ones who own all the beauty supplies.
Of course.
They're the ones who own all the nail shops. They're the ones who own all those, entities that we spend millions of dollars, billions of dollars in.
Yeah.
But when he told me that, it just had me thinking. I'm just sitting there like, wow, that's
that
crazy.
Hair, that hair, man, that's big money.
That hair, he was like, man, that's a multi-billion. He said,
I mean, I've been at the hair
millions.
shows. Yeah,
he said that's $1 billion
For real.
He said all day.
Okay.
He said because that's the number one. He said I forgot what he said he does, but he's in the market. He's in the market business, and he rationalize and break down finances and stuff in different businesses. And he was like, the hair business alone,
it kills them.
is the biggest. It's a multi-billion
we are
dollar
the biggest
business.
spenders. We're the biggest spenders.
We are because we buy anything that come out and it's new. We make it we make it a brand, even if it's new. Like school, you start with the kids. They'll make anything a fad.
Oh yeah.
Anything. You remember cross colors back in the day?
Wear your pants backwards.
Wear your pants. Like you make it a fad and it sticks for a while. Until it fades out, and then it start coming back.
Everything is now nothing but retro and everything. Everything is just repeating itself.
It really is. Down to still in the old school music, y'all.
But that's why the songs that they kind of changed. Like, so you had the old school music that was just the feeling, the soul, everything about it was just great. And so now the new generation is taking these old school songs and they putting that same beat in there. So, but they're talking bull crap on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it makes you love it because you heard that melody before years ago. So it's like,
it doesn't make me love it.
But no,
not even a little bit.
I ain't talking about you, but I'm just saying the average person.
But they don't even know that it's an old school song. Like, what song was it? It was one of the songs. And I was like, no, that's a remake. No, it's not. Spotify.
Right.
This is the real song. You hear it? Y'all don't know how to create anything of your own.
But that's how it gets to the older generation.
That's what I was about to say.
Like,
things
because
change.
we know that music. We like, oh man, but then they come with saying what they saying, and they actually get stuck in your brain, and you're like, man, why am I singing this song?
The older generation was saying some of the same things about our music that we was listening to. So it's a revolving door with that.
But like I said, like one thing I'm gonna get back on Nipsey Hussle one more time. One thing that he was rapping about was owning your own.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, giving back, owning your own. You know what I mean, and building. So that that's the type of music you really don't hear. They won't allow you to play on the radio. But he was able to step over into that road and actually, play it. But a lot do the young millennials pay attention to it though.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, hear it,
but you know what? This is the thing. Why do a black person have to die before it rise to a whole different plateau? Because the thing is, a man been doing this for a minute,
forever.
He been doing it for a while. It wasn't just he didn't just pop up and start doing it. He owned the whole block. And trying to restore. What street was that? Was it Crenshaw?
Yeah, but they was trying to Slauson that, but they was trying to actually figure them out. They couldn't figure him out at one point until he stepped over into the big third eye. When he stepped over into that third eye, that's when
that's what I was just about to say. They didn't care what he did in Crenshaw.
No, they didn't care about that.
Stay over there. Them little people stay over there.
Once he partnered with Atlantic Records, that's when you had the third eye on you. So now you got to watch what you say.
He started to know something that was about changing their money flow in their pockets. And once you start doing that,
messing with billions,
billions upon billions, and they don't care who dies.
No,
because many have died.
Just like the people who invented the cure to cancer.
They will
not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's the whole point that we got to move in a different way.
Guess what? Money burns with the planet too. If we burn,
it does.
Exactly.
Everything burns.
Yeah.
It don't matter how much power you got. You just be somebody. You just be a scorched planet. You look like Mars.
That's
facts,
I
man.
think, like when we look at the whole picture, when we look at like just to your point, like why does it happen? I think it goes back to when we first got here, we're still mentally hurt, and we don't even know it. You know what I mean? I think it's a carryover. Like I do things now that when I was in my mid-20s, and I just noticed habits. And then when I really started spending more time with my father, and I'm looking at him like what? You know what I mean? Like so we don't have to know about what happened or how my father acted when he was coming up or whatever. But the fact that's just evidence that we can carry something over, and act like when I get angry or whatever. Like I see some of the same things, in myself that my first day of college, when I was going to college at TCC in Tallahassee, my father just showed me another side of himself when he got angry. And
that was your first time seeing that?
No, yeah, because my father, he kind of sheltered me from his other sides or whatever. But it's like when and I ain't get like just over the top, but it's just that emotion or whatever. And then I'm like, hold on, wait, But so just saying all that to say this, it's like we don't have to see it, we don't have to know it, but we take on whatever spirits, whatever thing happened in the past. We don't even know that we need healing. And we end up acting a certain type of way, doing a certain type of thing. And I just believe that crab in the barrel situation comes from just us trying to figure out how to get out by any means necessary. I will try to help you, but I'm just gonna go. And I think it just got distorted along the way until it was just like, I'm gonna get out, period.
You gotta consider this. So say a generation is 100 years, right? A generation is really 10 years, but I'm just going to minimize it. Say a generation is 100 years. So you have 100 years where this first generation is you're trying to program them, right? Second generation, they're like really close knit to the first generation. So they got stories that are still vivid to them and that they can still relate to and touch the tangible. Start getting to that third generation, it's like, hold on, I don't really know much about that first generation. I don't know what they went through. All I know is what they've been teaching us. You know what I'm saying? Then now we talk that fourth generation, 400 years later, it's like, what? This is who we supposed to be because we've been taught that this is who we need to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why we got to search within ourselves to figure out who are we? I mean, there's so much disconnect. You know what I'm saying? To the source of us that we got to try to recreate our own narrative. Right. And we got to do it while we're here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to start moving a certain way when we represent ourselves. Like, I love the way I look. Like the way I say that is because I think I look like how our pharaohs did. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to mimic. I want to mimic like royalty. Let's walk around and look like royalty. So our people want to be like us, man. And themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because I am them, they are me. Like, so when I say that, I just love black people. Like, you know what I'm saying? I love everybody. Don't get me wrong.
Right, but just our culture.
But this is who I am. And I think we've been put on the back burner for so long that it's like we got to do extra just so we could try to catch up. You know what I'm saying? So I just want us to love ourselves first and foremost. And that's why I move the way I move. Like, you know what I mean?
So do you think they still owe us 40 acres and a mule?
I think if we was like, I think we need to formulate like we supposed to, and we don't even have to worry about that 40 acres and a mule because we'll create our own opportunities. Because look, like you said, that hair industry right there, you know what I mean? It's imagine if we owned a whole bunch of gas stations,
right?
We'd be good. We'd be able to send our kids to school. Like you think about all of the businesses where we from in the hood. What do you think is the most consistent business in the hood?
Liquor store.
Liquor store.
No, okay. The most consistent black-owned business in the hood.
Mom and pop.
I would say like
the most consistent black-owned business in every hood.
Black-owned business.
Beauty supply. I mean, not beauty supply, beauty shops.
You can't think of it, huh?
Beauty shops.
It's church.
Oh yeah.
Church,
beauty shops.
Yeah, and that's a
the
business.
Chinese
it is
people
a
own
business.
the Chinese people own the beauty shop. Yeah,
I know a lot of people that own black.
Oh, you do? Okay, so so good. That we need more
But
of that.
the beauty supply, where they get their supplies
Beauty
from,
supply. That's owned, but
and they couldn't do the shop without that.
You did.
So that's why Nipsey was a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because he's starting to teach them like we can own more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we could do this, we could buy this and buy that, and then lift our people up. That's one thing I respect about LeBron James and Kevin Hart. they got teams of people.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we run together as a team. We're going to succeed as a team. I know what you do well. I know what you do well. We all going to eat.
We all going to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like Voltron, arm, leg, arm, head. Like you be the best, you're a Wu-Tang. You bring your chamber, you know what I'm saying? We put our chambers together and then we elevate each other.
Right.
And like they say, man, a finger, you know, you could break a finger, but try breaking a fist.
Okay.
So that's why I respect that. And that's why, you know, my brothers, like, you know what I'm saying? I got my brothers back home. Like, I'm trying to work in a certain way where I can open some businesses back home. And then we could share, we could do something, we could plan things and uplift our families and uplift our people and try to find ways so our kids can go to these schools to learn how to help taking care of the planet. You know what I'm saying? Because certain things are taught to you. So
back to the basics, agriculture.
Back to the basics. Agriculture is huge, man. And we used to be big in that. Like, you look at how we are as workers now. Like, back in the days, they was like in the sun and the field all day. Like, they were
real work.
You know, another business that's huge is the oil business.
Oh,
Brought that up.
Oil business.
But you know what? That is a business. It's hard to get into.
Oh, now you did. Hold on. Now you dealing with the big boy.
Yeah. Some very powerful.
Rothschild.
They don't
Now you
play.
stepping in that zone,
man. And I know this woman. It's a black woman here in Atlanta. She's the only black woman in the oil business who own tankers.
Oh, that's
Wow. That's
Like,
amazing.
Every contract, because I was in her office, she doesn't deal with a contract under $300 million.
Oh yeah, them tankers.
Clean.
Yeah,
Like they come across, I was sitting there like, man, this is crazy. And she's sending those tankers out. I was like, and
that's a power move right there.
She did with the Alabama distribution
That's a
from
power
Alabama
move.
to Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, she
Respect.
been doing it for a long time. So I was just like, man, and that was a whole industry I didn't even know about, you know, because and what oil is used for, because it's in everything.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's a powerful resource, man. So, you know, if we
just have
tapped
to make
in,
it cleaner. We got to make it cleaner, man.
That's why they don't want the electric cars. They are pushing back, and they are doing everything they possibly can to keep, because they've been around for almost 10 years now.
right?
But nothing is really out there. I mean, we have the what do they call the hybrids and the Teslas and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's only one, and then everybody else has a hybrid or what have you. This technology has been. I mean, they have hoverboards.
Yeah.
They have flying vehicles.
But they've been showing you this
They
stuff
do.
forever. Like
Forever.
technology's been. I mean, they've been 20 years ahead of us forever.
Those
Yeah.
oil companies are like, I wish you would. Oh no, it's not gonna happen. You're not taking my money. No way. So
Yeah, that oil, but that, I mean, oil used for hair and everything, like you know, hair products and all kind of stuff.
So if I had $150,000 today to give you, what business would you open? Yes, Mr. Oliver, I would give it to you with hands down. Hands down. What business would you open? And the business would have to make a difference.
Okay.
And the business would have to
that's
be
easy.
self-sustaining, and it also has to be the gift that keeps on giving.
Real
Well, I
estate.
told you, I was just finna say, I told you one of the things I wanted was
Building,
a building,
commercial real estate,
Yeah,
residential
commercial,
real estate.
yep.
What kind of real
commercial,
estate?
Commercial real estate.
commercial.
All of it. Because you
got your hands
made a
in all
broad
of it.
because you made a broad point, so it's
Right,
all of it.
right.
Yeah.
See, first and foremost, when it comes to reconstructing who we are, we have to set an example, and that means going back, whether it be under the radar or just out in the public, rebuilding home. All right, the places that are run down, the people who really want to do good and do better, go up, clean those areas up, rebuild. Commercial, of course, do it. I want all of it. Like just me building decks. I get the understanding of how amazing it could be financially. Like on average, I build a 12 by 14 deck. That's $3,000. I pocket $2,000. And it only by myself, it takes me maybe 6-7 days. So just think about when you do it on a grander scale, and then you get those other contracts. You start developing other properties, so forth and so on. The tiny house communities are starting to go, which is I'm making a blueprint for that now, to make a luxury tiny house community.
Nice.
And it's for it's catered to college students, doctors, lawyers who are here, want property, don't want to spend $1 million.
Right.
But you can come in and spend $100,000 on your luxury property.
Right.
Go in, boom, out, head out wherever you have to go. So real estate The hair business are all booming, but especially real estate.
Yeah, real estate.
Especially here.
Yeah, real estate is a big thing here in Georgia.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's still plenty of land here. Now, I don't know about LA.
I don't know. They're using it up every day. There's another corner gone.
They continue building.
So, with that said, though, back to his point, preserving the planet. We need those trees. We need that oxygen. We need that. So, if we're constantly building on every corner, especially commercial, because they'll come in and wipe out a whole 5 blocks to build a shopping center or what have you, where's the balance?
Well, we have to think about what's needed. Because think about it, a lot of these commercial sites are just built and then they are not even used. Like about a mile from me, it's been this commercial property that had been there for like 4 years. Nobody was there. Then a church came and bought it last year. So it's a lot of them just do it for whatever reasons. I'm not going to get into specifics, but you have to. If I'm coming in with this plan to do this thing, I'm coming in with a purpose because I know that I'm trying to make it self-sustaining. That's a waste of money if nothing is going to be done with it. I'm also trying to make a profit from it. Pass down that generational wealth financially and just my daddy does this big thing with building. I want to do that too. But you just got to come in with that plan to knowing that this is going to serve a purpose, creating jobs. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, and that's a part of building up the block. Like if you see that there's an area that is just not used, you want to relocate people. And I know people, they want to stay. I've been here for 30 years or whatever, but you can't stay there. I got something for you. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna keep you along. I'm gonna keep you in this area, whatever. But I'm gonna do like I think Slim Thug. I think that was him. But anyway. Bought out the block, rebuilt it, and then he built businesses in the center of it all, and hired the people that live in that community. That's actually what a community is. What you say, where you have a home, you have businesses, and you have schools around the block. That makes a community. Just houses everywhere doesn't make a community. So when you basically recultivate everything, and then you put the businesses there, that commercial property. Employ people and then they live right there. Pinewood is doing,
and that's what they starting to do in a lot of different cities.
Pinewood is
they starting to build.
Pinewood
communities.
actually, they're building homes out there. It's gonna be like $500,000. But if somebody can afford it, you work at the studio. Yeah, you know what I mean. But that's the thing. Though. That's how you create income, generational wealth, something to pass down while empowering everyone else at the same time.
So how do we get past somebody very close to me? I have deep conversations with a lot of people, and she told me as I was confessing something, she said, "Your problem is you're always waiting on what's next. What's next never comes. You're always here." Yeah,
next is always next.
Marinate on that for a minute. What's next never comes. Next never comes because you're always here. When you get to next, you're here.
That's what I'm saying.
So we don't live enough in the here. Doing things now, making it happen now.
Right. Too much talking about
we
it.
sit and we wait and we're thinking about, then next week I'll do this. No. What are you doing today?
What are you doing now?
Today to make a difference in everything.
Every day has to be a purpose-driven day.
Yeah. So
every day.
What are you doing today?
What am I doing today? I'm on this talk show. Trying to figure out why Tiffany is taking over.
Look, I got to talking to before the show too, and he told me.
You got talking to?
I did, and I took it, so I'm gonna be quiet.
She be hitting you with them She should be hitting you with them stories. Like, look, you go grab the gun. They say they put the gun back outside, and then they turn it a certain way. I'm like, how do we do that?
I'm glad you said that because that takes us right into the improv I want to do.
No.
Yes,
we got 15 minutes left.
Is that all we have?
Yes, we do. So this improv ain't gonna be able to be.
Well, can I have this first 5 minutes of the last 15?
Like 75% of the show.
Yo, time is
Penny,
flying.
I need my own show.
The Tiffany B show.
Simply Tiffany Soul Show.
The Tiffany Soul.
You better recognize.
She will not have a co-host on her show.
Yes, I
It's gonna be all
It's gonna be
Tiffany.
Tiff and that.
She said she don't need one. She's
Okay,
like,
well, next
hold it
time.
down.
Tiffany and Blank Man.
I said, I tell you what. Okay, then we'll do this. Then I'll write it, and then I'll bring you all back together, and we'll shoot it, and then you can just
Let's
use it for
get
your
it.
reels.
Let's get it.
I mean,
I'm down
You
with
don't need
that.
a reel. No, I'm just playing.
Down with that.
Everybody needs a reel. No, but really, because I love writing stuff like that, just little tidbits, and then shoot
Now,
it.
see, for real though,
Yeah.
it'll be a dope movie for all of us to do a movie though. For real.
No, for
It
real.
would.
No, real.
You know my creative juices are flowing.
I already know.
Well,
I already know.
That was actually gonna be my answer.
Oh yeah.
That was actually gonna be my answer. When she said if she gave me $100 million right now to do what I want to do, what type of business would I open? A production company.
Yeah.
$100 million.
Dang
Yeah.
right.
Because then you control our imagery.
Yes.
Yup.
You control our narrative.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that right there for me, and that's the gift that keeps on giving. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because when it's generational, then your family is gonna
And you
be
got-
interested.
You need to pass it down.
They take it a little bit more seriously. They move with a different sense of purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when kids are seeing, it's like,
Yeah.
kids see basketball when they're kids, and then they get attached to it and they get married to it and they love it and they want to do it.
Yeah.
So what about if they already in the film business and you know what I'm saying? You got everything at your disposal
Teach
and
them
you're just looking at it
everything
and
and
you're
they-
like, I like having that control, that power.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to, because you got to figure out there's actors that tell a story, there's producers who produce a story, there's directors. Now, what I say that is the producers are the people who have the ability to get the story off the ground. The director is the person with the vision for the story. You know what I'm saying? The actors are the ones who got to live out the story, and the writer is the one who writes the story for you. So what are you good at? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to figure it out. And then when you got the money, then it's like, that's what you specialize in. Boom, you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm trying to learn as much as I can in this game, man.
Oh man,
That's what
you got
you do.
to.
Yeah.
You have to
You got to be a
educate
master
yourself.
at your
Yeah.
craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Listen,
dude 50 is
Atlanta
doing it, yo.
folk.
50 is
Okay,
doing
I say,
it.
yeah, shout out to
Killing
50.
it.
Yeah, 50 killing.
50 killing him right now, yo.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm taking
yeah.
notes on that
Killing
hustle, boy, because boy, that's hustle, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm taking notes.
You know,
man.
Master P, I started with Master P. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Only his stuff, you know?
Master P, yeah.
Yep, started out the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Made a move. And
Only your right.
Luda kind of did a similar
Yeah,
thing.
Luda.
too.
Yeah. We got
I mean,
some
they all
people
to
out
the
there that's
piece
working
of
with
it,
That's
you
it.
know,
people that's
of it.
working. Yeah.
Tyler Perry said he was doing a speech and he was saying that he was like, own your stuff.
Own it.
Yeah.
Own it, man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why
Yeah.
Nip said what? He
You
owned
know,
his
he was
masters.
I own the masters to my tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that I mean that's
to.
right, but somebody
See-
gave everybody an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Somebody,
And Atlantic had to
Yeah,
partner
man.
with him though. Like they had to
Opportunity.
partner with him. It was like he already had what he had established. It was like you couldn't bribe him with the money. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they had to actually partner with him. His deal was stupid crazy.
So I got a
was
question.
crazy.
I got a question because we just named a lot of powerful men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So with that much power, and like how do you what happens to our minds to sustain that? You know what I mean? Like
I'm gonna go first.
okay,
So what happens to us when we get that type of power? We turn into them because we're looking at them daily. We're wanting what they have, and I'm just not talking about a
No, I
particular
know what
race.
you're saying. I
Just
know what
rich
you're saying.
people in
Just-
general.
Yeah.
We want it. We need. That's why we go out and buy cars and houses and stuff that we really don't need. Because we're seeing that and we know we desire that. We envy
Visual.
that. So when we get that kind of power, that's what we do. And we forget where we came from. And then we also have the thing of, I want to be first to do it and then I'll help you.
I think it's more so
What
what
is that about?
happens
That's right.
to him when he gets it, because there's a shift that that we've seen. A lot of the times in somebody's, in our minds, like something happens when we get to a certain point. A lot of the times, and I just say we in general, like we get depressed, suicide, so forth and so on.
Can't trust nobody, that's why.
Yeah, and so it and that's a big thing. You know what I mean?
Real
not
talk.
trying to just
Yeah.
trying to
us
shift the
bottled
subject or
up.
whatever,
No,
but
no.
that's just since we was talking about it, but it's just a lot of times people like that, black, white men, women, whatever. Like there's something happens,
Yeah.
and like it's just a thing that needs to be talked about, especially with men.
So what do you mean exactly? Like,
Well,
just when they get to a certain level of power, then their mental state.
Well,
it weakens or
Well, it seems that way because we're on the outside looking in.
Right.
We sit back and we see like, dang, why did they kid us? They had this, they had that, they had the money to do this, but like something happened.
know
Robin
why?
Williams,
I'm tell you,
they were dying
in most-
inside
yeah.
internally.
They thought that acquiring all that wealth and stuff was going to be the answer.
Yeah, it was going to make happiness.
And they still was empty.
Right.
You know, it's so many people. That's what, you know, a lot of even some of those rich kids that grow up. You know, they grow up and they get into drugs and all that because all they know is what they see. And they still empty. They never got the nurturing, the love that they supposed to get. All they was around was money and power.
Yeah.
You know, and when they got to a certain level, it's like I'm missing something. I'm empty.
Cool.
I got all this, but the essence of you got the shell, but the essence, the stuff that's on the inside is all gone.
Yeah, the
You know, there's
inside,
nothing
when
there.
you dying internally, is nothing.
You're
nothing
dead, right.
to do. You know, your peace is everything.
Yeah.
And that's where that suicide comes from, and they you know get on the drugs and get strung out. You know, and I see it all the time. You see it all the time, mostly in Hollywood, where you know those young kids and stuff get strung out on the drugs and stuff. And I be sitting there like, where the parents? You never see nothing about the parents.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about the kids, but you never what's going on with the parents.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like they raise their kids and just kind of shun them off. And say, here goes some money.
Part of it is because they can't be around them all the time. Because when you like a kid like that, you working a lot. So the parent, like, imagine Michael Jackson's parents when Michael Jackson was just like, you know what? No. I need to step away.
Right.
Like, you over me too much. Like, I need to live a little bit. So that's the thing, man. It's like when you like Corey, who was it? Corey Fame?
Helms.
I think so. Yeah. You gotta think, like you said, when he was younger, he had the world at his
He was
disposal.
in everything.
Right.
That boy was in everything. The Lost Boys.
You gotta think with his practice and acting was his parents were always there. They probably was like, okay, we can't be on set all day. You know?
See, that's why I'm glad in a couple of weeks
Go ahead.
we're gonna have Nadege Bailey in here, who is very powerful in the film. I don't know, she played Gabrielle's daughter on I forgot the movie and stuff.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Nadege, she's
The Christmas movie.
Christmas,
yeah.
she just did the other
Best
movie with
Enemy.
with
Love My
Taraji.
Enemy.
Yeah.
What's the enemies?
Best of Enemies.
Best of Enemies. Yeah.
So she's gonna be up here. That's something I really want to touch on her father, because her father's gonna be here, and I want to ask them those questions because they got her on the tight. They give her a lot of attention. You know, totally different from how
It was back in the day.
you know, so I really admire what they doing and how they raising them, you know, because even then he was like, look, she got school and stuff, so we got to do, you know, we got to do it at this time and stuff. I was just like, okay, you
got to be in tune with your kids, especially if they want to be in this business.
Right.
Like I told my daughter, that's what she wants to do. She wants to act, she wants to sing and all that stuff, and she's good. I mean, she picks up the stuff I do. When I'm in there rehearsing, she come down and watch me, and then she end up doing. Remember the Andy character?
Yeah.
She had the Andy down pat. I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? But
Might be a little actress on the
man, and like, you know,
good.
she picks up stuff. I can play some on the piano, and she'll learn it just like that. I come back, she know how to play, and she done added something to it.
Hold on, you
You
play the
play
piano?
piano?
Hold on.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I play piano.
Sure.
What?
I think I knew that.
From the D13?
I think I knew that.
What else you do, man?
Boys from the hood don't play
We all
shit.
right.
Man, that's something I always love to do. I just picked it up easy. You know what I mean? I'm just like with Nick Cannon. You know, Nick Cannon was on what was that, Drumline? How he just can hear it and kind of pick it up. So I don't really know how to read it like that yet, but as far as I'm always being, it just be to pick up the notes, and my daughter does the same thing. Like,
Wow.
she just
Gift
just
right
like
there.
that.
Stevie Wonder can't read it either, so you're good.
You know, my son. You know, I had to say my oldest son.
I'm sorry, Stevie. I'm
No
sorry.
no shots fired.
oldest
No
son.
shots fired.
Said that my oldest son tripped me out, you know, because he was in the band. He's in the military now, but when he was in high school, he was in the band, and his band, man, they played the most boring. Because I would go to support, you know, because he was in the band. It is what it is. It was boring, man. It was literally like Drumline. He was that band that was playing that Flight of the Bumblebee and stuff. So one day I went to they that had he was in the marching band. I went to one of the games and they was playing a song by, I can't even remember who it was, a rap song though. And I stopped. I said, "Is that?"
yeah.
And I kept. I said, "That is." And I was like, "Oh, you know." So afterwards, I talked to my son. I said, "Look, I saw y'all playing a rap song during the marching band." He said, "Yeah, I wrote it." Wow. I said, "You did what?" He said, "The band director said, in order for us to play that song, I had to write the music to every instrument in the band."
Wow. That's talent.
Yeah, that is dope.
And he just said it.
He was on this Prince game.
He just said it. And bro, when I tell you, I'm sitting there, I just stopped and I looked at him and he was like, "What?"
That's
like, cause he was looking at me
Wait a
like,
minute, it's your son, so he had to get it from you.
That's
you
a
got
great job,
talent,
That's
Wardell.
amazing.
Wardell, you
I don't have
got
no talent like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, but it was just amazing to me because I'm saying, look, and he just said it like it was nothing.
Like you're not. That's
You
what
know,
he
and
did.
that trips me out with kids, man, because they learn stuff that we didn't learn till we were later.
Yes.
And when I sit there and talk to him, and he says, "I'm just be sitting there looking at him like,
Now, you know it's dope
It's
that the
like,
teacher had the confidence in him to do that.
To do it.
Right.
For a whole entire band.
for
Like,
the
I trust
whole
you
band."
enough.
And see,
trust
that's
you enough to do
that's
that.
what I'm
Instrument.
saying.
Yep.
That's why I'm looking at him like, dude,
dope.
that's every instrument.
Yeah.
A band, you got like
You got-
what, 16, 17 different instruments in the
Yeah,
band,
man, that's
and he
a
had to
lot,
write
bro.
the music to every last one of them. And he
crazy,
said,
right? That's
and
dope.
I'm talking about
That's
they,
amazing.
and then I was just blown away,
Yeah,
you know. And
that's
I'm sitting there
amazing.
looking at him like, dude, you a genius, because he scored perfect, almost perfect on it. He was off by a few points on the SAT.
SAT, yeah.
So he's like one of those. He scored high in the military, got way above, jumped in way above everybody else. You know, like he's just, you know. And one day he came home, he told me, I said, "Dude, you just doing?" He said, "Well, I get it from you." He told me straight up. He said, "You kept me, you stayed on me like the whole
Right,
time."
but he see your grind too, what you doing, and
Right.
so what he loved to do, he just following the same path. You know?
And it's crazy because me and him was going toe to toe when he was in high school, but he went out to the military and he came back and was a different person. And he kind of just laid it out, you know. And I was like, man, when kids get to a point where, you know, they make you realize, man, I didn't do so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know how to raise I had no father in my life.
Yeah.
So raising my son, like that was a difficult thing to do, you know, because I couldn't give him that compassion and stuff. You know, I felt awkward hugging him when he got older because I never got that. You know,
That's understandable.
so it was crazy,
You know,
man.
that's deep to say because I see you with your children now, of course.
Yeah.
Your son, you hug him a lot, but a lot of men go through that.
Because I knew I had to conquer that. You know, so with my son I have now, my 6-year-old, I'm always hugging on him now. Like I'm like I'm gonna break this, you know.
It's love. You show
Right.
love. That's
I just
deep
didn't want to
love.
feel uncomfortable with that no more. You know what I'm saying? And not with my kids, you know.
Right.
Right.
So it was something I had to work on, man. When you learn your weakness, I try to build on it, try to fix it. You know.
Right.
That's what's up.
It's
That
funny
is
how
going to be
kids can they can get to the point where they get uncomfortable. My daughter's 7; she used to kiss me on the lip. You know what I mean? Now
They be like,
she be
I
like,
only seen what you like.
turn that cheek like, "Man, you kiss me
They
on
be
my
like,
cheek,
can you drop me off up the street? I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
walk.
drop at the
Like,
street.
what?
What?
Unless you got a nice car.
Yeah.
Now, you got a
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
car or
Pull up.
something.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
can you
I
Pull
wanna
pull
out
up?
to the front. To the front. Right.
No, when you got a nice car, can I drive it?
Yeah.
Right.
Can I drive it to the prom?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happened to my drop top red Volvo
Oh boy.
with the tan interior that I love so much.
She reminiscing again.
Oh, man.
Brianna, you
I'm
in
sorry.
trouble. You in trouble and don't even know you.
Yeah,
in
Brianna,
trouble.
you in trouble.
She's about to cash that coupon.
All right, we at the end of the show, y'all. I want
I
to
thought we
go.
was just getting started.
I
Man,
know,
for real.
right? I know. I don't want it to end.
We gonna have to bring y'all back another time. You know.
Will you allow me to come back?
No, you're not coming. Just them. No, I'm just kidding. You gotta come. You already gonna be back in 2 weeks. You know. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. Before we go, I want each of you to just give a tad bit of advice, something that you want to leave for the listeners.
Cool. Well, if there's anything that I can ever give somebody is when you're in a tough space and you feel like you don't have any answers, you feel like the money ain't coming, you know, you feel like you don't have any talent, just do it anyway. One rule that I've learned in life is
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself and understand that the key to success is real simple. I think I found it. And it's simply showing up. No matter what. You show up. for showing up to something that I made no money for. It has made me probably about 75 grand just off of one person. Mm-hmm. One person I showed up for, and I was in DC on vacation with my family, and I cut it short to show up for somebody that I made no money. So just do it. Don't worry about anything else. Just do it.
All right, Deon.
I mean, what I can say, man, is just put God first and keep going. Like, you know, it's one thing to start something, but it's one other thing to finish and keep going. You know what I mean? Because this is anything you want to do in life. You're never going to reach the highest level you want to reach. You got to keep on going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. It's always room to grow in everything. So that's my thing. Just whatever you want to do, whatever your dream is, don't be a sayer. Just do it. You do it, and then whatever you do, don't stop. Just keep going. Don't quit.
All right, Alphonso.
I think you should try to be the one in the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, two of my favorite movies, The Matrix is one of them and Avatar is the other. And they have two different versions of the one. And The Matrix is telling you that you are the one. You know what I'm saying? So your role is very important to everybody around you. Avatar said is we are the one. You know what I'm saying? But so if you got a good weed, and you got to be who you are in order to make that weed stronger. You feel me? So that's what I want everybody to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to elevate myself so I can be a contributor to the direction or the ascension of where we're going. So, you know what I mean? Everybody should try to join along, man, because we only got one planet to worship, for real.
Right. That's what's up.
Tiffany?
So mine is, you have more. Whenever anybody tells you that you're not enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you're not fat enough, you're not dark enough, you're not light enough, your hair isn't enough, your eyes aren't enough, who you hang around isn't enough, what you do is not enough, your skills aren't enough. Just shake that off, because you always have more. You're more. You're more than your mind can even imagine you are. You are more than enough.
More than enough.
Yep. Dope. And I just say, trust God and trust yourself. I think a lot of people get in their own way in this business and whatever they do, from fear, from somebody telling them they can't, you know. Always believe in yourself and trust in yourself that you can do it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. And that's the essence of what everybody basically just said here. you know, believe in yourself and trust in yourself, because through God, you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? And with that, you know, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you, Tiffany. You're welcome. For taking over the show.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure.
And I want to, and I want to ask you guys to give your social media, how people can contact you.
All right, on IG, you can hit me up on the.urbangentleman.
All right.
Me on Instagram, you can look me up at DROB2K3, DRob2K3, and on Facebook is D_ROBB Robertson, D-Rob Robertson.
All right.
What up, Bridgeport? I see my son watching. He just came on. What up, Quan? Akhenaten on Instagram is AQENATEN. It's real easy, man. There's no U in it. It's AQENATEN. Simple.
Right. Yeah, you can reach me on everything, either Tiffany Roberts or Simply Tiff, Simply Tiff Soul, Simply Tiff Soul, or Simply Tiffany Soul.
And once again, I'm Wardell Richardson, the host of WCEG Wood. You can find me under my name, Wardell Richardson, WARDELL, and make sure you follow WCEG Wood, the online Hollywood of the South, on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram at WCEG Network and WCEG. What was the other one? Yes. Underscore. Yes. WCEG_talk_radio. And before we go, don't forget the Shattered movie premiere, May 4th at 2 p.m. You can get tickets on Eventbrite, directed by Mimi Keys, produced by Kathy Taylor at the Hudson Grill in Midtown. We are ending the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've watched the show, please share the show even when we finish with all your family and friends. There's a lot of knowledge that came out of this show today. A lot of knowledge. And I knew that was going to happen. You know, you get to see Tiffany take over. And Tiffany is one of my closest friends and is one of my closest friends. She has been there. She has been there for me. She has done a lot for me. We have done a lot together, and I really, really adore this woman. She's awesome. So I want to.
But I still need to shut up. I know. And I'm okay with saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let me go out, Tiffany. So we're going to end the show. God bless. WCEG Wood, we signing out. Peace.
WCEG Wood.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Yeah. Let me do it. You wanna talk about it? We gon' talk about it. You wanna talk about it? That Hollywood of the South. We can talk about it. That Hollywood of the